What's up,
The week
guys?
3
Gilmore
recap,
and
right?
Donald here, dropping episode 9 of the Sideline Social Week 3 recap. Rookies look to lead the charge this week with some impressive performances. As we enter Week 4, there are still 3 teams looking for their first win of the season. This video, we go over NFL LSU, Tighten Down, the Will Levis Project, Offensive Rookie of the Year race favorites emerging, and are the Cowboys still in big trouble? Hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll be seeing you real soon. All right, baby. Week 3 is done. All the games are finished. It is officially a motherfucking Tuesday at 3:47. NFL LSU, or as I like to say, NFLSU. Now you may be asking, what is that, Gilmore? And I just want to tell y'all how fucking dominant LSU was this past week. Malik Neighbors had 8 catches for 78 yards and 2 tugs, helping lead the Giants to their very first win. Justin Jefferson caught 6 passes, appreciated, with the 81 yards and a tug. Needed that for the fantasy points. With 34-7 victory over the Texans, Tyrann Mathieu, a.k.a. the motherfucking Honey Badger, forced another turnover in his 4th consecutive game, longest streak in his pro career. Joey B, a.k.a. Joe Burrow, went 29 for 38, 324, 3 tugs, no picks, but still, the Bengals have yet to win. Yeah, they are still winless. That is very true. Jamar Chase had 6 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Donald, go ahead and let us know why that happened.
Because T. Higgins is back. His Batman is back, so Robin can perform.
That is true. That is very true. He is 1B, like Donald likes to say, and T. Higgins is 1A.
Yep.
Brian Thomas got 5 passes for 48 yards. Nothing too crazy. The Jaguars did kind of get belt to ass, so it was kind of hard for him to get the ball. Trevor Lawrence is ain't doing too well. But the best performance out of all these LSU stars is Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels. Had a final stat line of 21 for 23, 255 yards, 2 tugs, no picks, 40 rushing yards on 11 carries, and a touchdown. He had more total touchdowns than completions and set the NFL rookie record for completion percentage in a game at 91%. How do you think that that performance fares against some of the other rookies emerging in this race, Donald, for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's really put it in a 2-man race. I mean, a lot of people are going to say Marvin Harrison, he's going to keep having a great year, but Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels have set themselves apart, and I don't see them slowing down at all. I mean, even right now, he has an 80% completion percentage on the year, and to set the NFL record, he'd only need a 74, so he can start slouching some and still set an NFL record this year, which rookies can't really say. And none of the other rookies in this race are really standing out. Caleb Williams is probably a bottom 5 quarterback in the league. Granted, it's not his fault. The offensive line's been awful, and he's really standing out. Jaden Daniels has had a great year.
I know they don't win it, but Joe Alt looks pretty good. The tackle from the Chargers. Again, I know offensive linemen don't get the love they deserve, but he looks to be a hell of a stud on that offensive line.
Oh yeah, I completely agree, and he could be all pro, but he's not going to get the votes.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, I do think Malik Neighbors definitely helped you in fantasy. He's helped you the last 2 weeks, so he's
it's been great.
He's looking fucking solid. But Jaden Daniels, man, that we have not seen a quarterback play that well in those fucking colors in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen a rookie play like this ever, honestly. I mean, his first 2 weeks, you could see him. He pulled the ball down a lot. He's a little hesitant to throw. But that Bengals game, he looked right at home in the pocket. He was making great decisions. Stood in there tall on that pass to Terry McLaurin in the third, was it? Third quarter, I think he threw that bomb. That was huge. That was great to see as a Washington fan, seeing a quarterback stand in there, take that hit, and deliver a beautiful ball.
That's all Scary Terry really needed, baby, was a quarterback.
Oh, I've been saying it. You've been a Scary Terry hater.
Yeah, because, I mean, he just hasn't produced the I mean, I get he's had shit quarterbacks. I can't say he hasn't produced the numbers because, it's really hard to produce numbers when you got fucking ass cheeks thrown at you.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be the year where he deserves the nickname Scary Terry.
Oh, for sure. And besides Jaden Daniels, I mean, we got to throw some other names in there, and that other name would be Malik Neighbors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If Jaden Daniels doesn't set a record and go crazy, I think Malik Neighbors stays just as efficient. I don't see his production dropping they're targeting him, I think, at a top 5 rate in the league right now. He is getting the ball.
Yeah, and there's
And
no other guy to hit that third spot other than Marvin Harrison.
yeah.
Realistically,
And
unless Caleb picks it the fuck up, which I mean, it's kind of hard to tell after 3 weeks. I mean, Marvin Harrison is outside the week one, given the numbers that we've asked him to get. That look offensive rookie of the year worthy. Caleb Williams is like losing games or barely winning games. It's just kind of not like it's not moving the needle really.
no, and I mean, he's had a few good throws. He's had his moments, but he still looks like a rookie. And the pass rush, I get it. He's going to look like a rookie for a little bit until they find some offensive line help.
Yeah.
And really, they should have done that with the Roma Dunze pick. I get Caleb liked him; they were friends, but we got to make decisions for the team, not for a quarterback. When you got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen to catch passes, we don't need a slot receiver that's 6'4" and plays outside.
You extend your tight end in Cole Kmet, and then you go out and grab that garbage ass running back in DeAndre Swift. Like, I get
Yeah.
you want to load up on offense, but let's load up on some pass blocking offensive weapons, aka
Yep,
offensive fucking linemen.
they took the Mac Brown 2010s Texas approach. Oh, hey, we have 5-star receivers and quarterbacks, but the local garbage company's blocking for them.
Yeah, my son's out there in dropping back, but
Yep.
man, the Titans, dude, and by the Titans, I mean the Will Levis project. Again, I watched him in Kentucky. One of the red flags was he's a mayonnaise in the coffee kind of guy. That should have been another red flag. We're not
A real trailblazer there.
yeah. And I get, they had a weak quarterback room. They continued to add on their defense. They go out and sign, Calvin Ridley and TP on their offense. They go out and get Tyler Boyd as well. They get all these decent, serviceable weapons, and they get this nasty ass stacked defense, and somehow they're winless. And I get, against the Bears, that could have been a different story. That game could have went a different way. But who loses you that game is the guy who you have, dropping back and throwing the ball in Will Levis. He's 68% completion. He's 579 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. The team is 0-3, and they have a shot to drop the next 4 games to go 0-7. They have a horrible giveaway to takeaway ratio at 8 giveaways on 1 takeaway, which is dead last in the NFL. They're 4th worst in total yards. They're 5th worst in passing yards. They rank bottom half in rushing yards. But you can manage that. Not every team's really good at running the rock like that. But they're also 6th worst in third down conversions at a 31.4% rate. But then you want to flip to the other side of the ball, like the defensive side of the ball, which is where they spent a good portion of their money. I mean, outside of Calvin Ridley and I think they gave Tony Pollard a little bit above market rate. But the defense, 5th best in total yardage defense, 3rd best in passing defense. The D has kept them within games, within 2 scores at least going into half. But it's hard to sustain a great defense through 4 fucking quarters. As a Broncos fan, like that you see your team go out there and fucking the first 2 quarters, you're like, this is a nice defense, and then the last 2 quarters, it's like, this is a tired fucking defense.
Yeah, as a Broncos fan, I saw a stat yesterday that was mind-boggling to me. We are leading the league in games with the with the opposing offense held under 20 points since 2020. We are the first in the league. We have held them more games below 20 points. We just have an abysmal offense. We can't stay in the game. And I think this is the same problem the Titans are having. That defense can make stuff happen. Granted, they're not forcing many turnovers, but Will Levis is just giving the other team the ball any chance he gets right now.
And it doesn't help that their backup is Mason Rudolph. So this is a little bit of a curve. But who would you like to see the Titans either draft or go get? Like, who would you like to see them, like, I guess necessarily replace Will Levis? Because that's what it is. This should be a one-and-done project. There's not really...
This is the race for the first overall pick at this point. I don't know their draft positioning off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they still have their first round pick this year. And looking at the people that are coming out, depending on Quinn Ewers' health when he returns, I think Quinn might be the best guy this year. I haven't watched enough film to give you a solid answer, but I really like Quinn.
Yeah.
I don't think you go out and trade. I don't think there's a free agent. I don't think there's a free agent that wants to come there. Your roster's not good enough. You don't have the receiving talent.
Cam Ward's a guy you can throw in there. Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola, if you want to wait a couple years. The guy from Tennessee, if you want to wait a couple years.
Yep,
Will
all those are solid
Howard.
names.
Yeah, they're
I mean, if you wait a couple years, you got Manning, right?
yeah, Arch
Cooper
Manning.
Arch, yeah, Arch
Or
is
no,
his
that's
name.
their
Cooper's
dad.
son.
Is it? Is his name
Yeah,
Arch?
he's Arch too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Arch.
Okay.
He's
Yeah. A little bit of a
yeah.
blunder there, but yeah. I mean, dude, I like the Titans. I do, but I feel like their QB is what's fucking them out of a lot of these games.
Yeah, it's definitely comes down to a lot. I haven't watched enough of their games because they are the bottom half of the league, and it's been a struggle for them. And I don't see it getting better. Their roster's not constructed too well. You can't do much behind Will Levis, and they knew they had Will Levis coming in.
Yeah, he's wasting away D Hop. I mean, he's already kind of ass now, but I want him to at least somewhat be have a chance to win something. God damn it, at least make a fucking playoff game. I don't think he's made a playoff game in 4 years or 3 years. I don't think he was there when the Titans went with Mariota. No, I think he was with the
Yeah.
Cardinals. But talking
When you have
about
a second year guy like this too, it makes you question everything. It makes you question the coaching staff. Like, what did the coaching staff see in this guy to make you think, hey, let's give him a year to himself?
especially
Because
if
I have
you're
not saw anything.
yeah, especially if you're a new coach and realizing you didn't draft the guy, you didn't bring in a lot of help necessarily like of the same age to help grow with this guy. You got him old ass weapons, washed up ass fucking running backs. Like again, they're all serviceable. None of these guys are absolutely bottom of the barrel fucking players. But then you
Yeah.
go out and you spend a decent bit of money, and you're like at QB like we're good to go. Like this train's a chugging along, and I'm like, you're 0-3, motherfucker. At some point, you got to wake up and either make a QB change and bring in Mason Rudolph, who's your backup, because you've already seen the Will Levis experience. Like it's fucking just not well. And you saw with the Panthers what they did. Bless his soul, and Bryce Young. When they benched his ass and brought in the Red Rifle, and you saw how he fucking played this week. Absolutely
Yeah.
torched the Raiders fucking defense, who I had on fucking fantasy.
Yeah, and I think this is a weird decision in general. It's a lot like that Panther situation. You're not going to go in and trade anybody. But my question is more the offseason. Like the Panthers thought they had their guy. He wasn't an awful rookie. He made some mistakes, but the Titans saw zero from Will Levis.
Yeah.
They knew he was a question mark coming in. I can't believe that he showed them enough in practice, seeing what I see now. Like, and there wasn't a complete lack of options this offseason. I mean, we saw 6 rookie quarterbacks taken first round. So all those guys were options. And then you want to step out to free agency. Yeah, say you want to wait a year. You want the first overall pick. You want the hype the following year. So you wait a year. I mean, Gardner Minshew could have led more wins now than Will Levis is, and that was pretty obvious.
Yeah. I don't know.
There were the options there.
They're in trouble, and so are the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys, man. People love to talk about the Cowboys, and to me, they're the Lakers of the NFL. I have long said this. You will see people call them, the Super Bowl winner in April. As soon as the draft happens, the Cowboys are back. We dumb boys, blah blah blah. But there's some huge holes in this roster, and it's becoming more apparent. We saw it week 1. You got a blowout versus a very bad Browns team, and the holes were still there. I mean, they have glaring issues along that offensive line. And Guyton, he's abysmal. He can't run block.
Yeah, he's ass cheeks, dude.
He's always out of position. To me, it looks like a lack of confidence. It looks like he's forgot how to block because I don't think he thinks he can at this level.
I don't even think he knows he's a fucking left tackle.
Honestly, it looks like that sometimes, man.
But he thinks he's
an
a
open
fucking
door out there.
slot receiver.
Yep, it's like Walmart. These guys don't even have to push the door open. It just slides out of their fucking way.
Yeah. My God, dude, it's tough. It is because you spend all this. You spend the first 3 rounds on offensive line help, and
Yep.
then they go out and Guyton, which was their first round overall pick from Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, just goes out there
Yep.
and fucking stinks it. Gives you Alex Leatherwood type of fucking material to work on.
hmm And as bad as he's been, and watching this film, I don't think he's the worst offensive lineman on that football team. I'd take 2 steps to the right, and I'd throw that center on a bus to fucking Saskatchewan or somewhere, man. That guy is awful. Cooper Beebe, I mean, he gets lost all the time. He can't be left alone. They're doubling to his side and letting Zeke solo block linebackers on blitzes because they can't trust him, man. It's so tough to watch Cooper Beebe play football.
Yeah, and to have one of the best fucking guards in the game in Zach Martin in his, I would assume his last year, hopefully, because if not, he's gonna tarnish his fucking legacy. But I mean,
Yeah,
every time they're dropping back, it's a double team, and who's helping Cooper Beebe? Fucking Zach Martin.
it is entirely every single time. And then if there is a single stunt, Cooper doesn't see it coming. I don't know if they're not talking. I don't know if he's just fucking dumb. But every time there's a stunt, it's a free lane at Dak. He's fucking flat on his feet, hugged up against Zach Morton, praying for dear life that the guy doesn't pancake both of them and the
They're
stunt runs
they're
right
cuddled
past him.
up. They're not hugged. They're cuddled up.
Yeah, it has been tough to watch him, and that leads to the overall offensive struggles we saw. I mean, this might be, in watching Cowboys games over the past 8 years and watching Dak play, this might be the most inaccurate Dak I've ever seen. Dak has typically been a very accurate passer. That was his saving grace coming out of college. He was athletic and he put the ball where it needed to go. And that's what we saw his rookie year when he won 14 games. And now this year, you're seeing him rushed. You're seeing him drop back there, look like he doesn't feel safe, and then he's leaving some balls high on curl routes. He's throwing it behind. I mean, last game alone, we saw 2 drop picks that were right to DBs.
Yeah, and then one got there was 2 drop picks, and there was that one from Brandon Cooks where he fucking yanked a motherfucker's nameplate off his jersey into the dirt so he wouldn't have a third fucking pick.
Yeah.
I get there's no such thing as almost picks, but this motherfucker Dak leads in almost picks.
Yeah. Even you, as big of a Dak hater as you are, there's one thing you could probably admit, and that was he was efficient most of his career.
Yeah, no, factual. He did if he
And we're
didn't
not.
have to play hero ball, if he just had to, throw probably less than 28ish times a game, and you had a decent, effective offense without having Dak to air it the fuck out, like you were solid. But his problem was he'd get super fucking confident on these garbage ass teams, airing that bitch out, and then when it was time for him to play fucking hero ball, his cape and his Batman boots just disappeared.
Yep, exactly. And this year, he looks less like himself than I've ever seen him. I mean, they're miscalling protections. We're seeing a lot of, they're sending doubles the wrong way, and we're sending a free blitzer the other way while you have BB standing there with his hands up his ass. And I don't know what's going on. This is not the Dak I've seen play football, and everybody's going to say, oh, he had a great game last week. He had a great fourth quarter when Baltimore was already fucking taking their cleats off and sending their shoulder pads with the maintenance guys.
Yeah, to say he had a great game when the first 3 quarters you settled for a field goal and a field goal. And it
Yeah.
was 6 to fucking I think 28 going into the fourth quarter. Like, yeah, he made a comeback. Like, that's fucking phenomenal. But let's try to score touchdowns on the first, second, third quarter.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
if you would have scored at least 1 touchdown in any of those quarters, you win the game. But instead, you fucking pile it in the fourth quarter, and you're like, damn, we lost. Like, no shit.
Yep. And then let's go on from there because we've talked enough about the offense. Because offense, they're struggling 3 quarters. They still put up 24 points. So let's look at some of the other problems.
Yeah.
Your best defensive player might be the least defensive player in football. I mean, least fundamentally sound player in football. I have not seen a guy give up his edge more in football in my entire life than Micah Parsons. And the Ravens made it glaringly obvious. I mean, the Saints did too. If you watch it, all their bootlegs are to Micah's side because he's going to stare at the running back, turn his hips, and run and chase like he's never chased anything in his life. And he gives his edge up entirely, and it is so tough to watch Micah play football when he does that.
Especially since in the next couple, probably year and a half, or probably 2 years to a year and a half, it's contract talking time, baby. And there were people saying that he was a little bit north of $35 million, 36, 37, and I'm not gonna jump ship just yet because I do like Micah. He has a sack in 3 games. You have not faced a top 3 offensive line. I would think so. Yeah, no, and no. And he has 1 sack, and you're gonna pay this guy $36 million, and he can't, identify. He gets bitched out on bootlegs, and then he gets fucking. They're running at him. Like
Yeah,
I'm
when
not.
they run at him, he gets moved. If you can't step him a foot inside the tackle, he has to play outside shoulder of the tackle. Because if you move him a foot in and he gets a guard with a hand on him, he's out of the play.
It's crazy
There's
because
no
he's
chance.
one of the most athletic players on the field, and he's
Yeah,
just looking like the most handicapped player on the field.
and he does remind me of a lot of Von Miller, where Von Miller was the same way. We had to play him, in that outside six technique. He's coming off the edge because if you move those, not to say smaller, Vaughn and Micah are both 250. They were big guys, but overall scheme of things, 300-pound linemen coming at you, you're not that big. You need the edge. You need your space to work.
Yep,
And the
and
Cowboys just aren't using him properly.
Vaughn was phenomenal at getting, learning how to bend, learning how to contort his body to get up under the
Yeah.
tackles and shit and beat him for the sack. But it doesn't even looks. Honestly, he just looks sluggish. He looks like he's giving up sometimes. I get maybe we could look at different aspects like how fast are these guys getting the ball out? Are they throwing that much? But to only have one sack in 3 games, like I don't think these three quarterbacks, are out here just slinging that bitch as soon as the ball gets snapped.
And it goes back to the Browns game. Micah disrupted a lot of stuff that game, but he was on a backup right tackle for the Browns. I don't even know their starting right tackle. And he was up against the backup most of the game and had one pressure on the backup. His one sack was he got chipped and ran a stun off of it and had a great play.
Yeah.
But his one sack this year came on an unblocked play. Anytime he's been blocked, he's quite literally been taken out of the game.
And it's tough because he was in favorites to. I mean, I didn't think he was, but there's some crazy motherfuckers out there who had him in their DPOY votes.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he was in mine. I don't remember our awards list, but I've always thought if you let him play his game and you put him on the edge and teach him some discipline where he holds his edge, he's a top 3 pass rusher in football.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But he they've tried to change him a little bit, and we've seen him work him in at inside linebacker because they're not confident in their inside linebacker play, which is another topic. But it's just not who he is.
Not even by the slightest.
And moving on from there, the inside linebacker topic there. Uh, Overshown, I don't know his name. Hopefully nobody knows his name because he should find his
Damarian,
way to the bench.
University
Demarion
of Texas,
Overshawn.
baby.
Yeah. This guy plays like he has bricks in his feet. And he doesn't move. Anytime he sees a run, he stands there like a deer in the headlights.
But he looks swaggy
He,
out there. Know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, it's great. The sleeve's nice. I like it.
Absolute
Yep.
ass cheeks.
Yep. He gets beat to his gap by every offensive lineman. I don't think I've seen him make one tackle at the line of scrimmage in the 3 weeks, and I've watched every defensive snap. I don't know about you, Gilmore.
Look, he ain't move. My favorite saying is he a needle mover. They've tried over, I would probably say 5 to 6 different packages to get him on the field and keep that defensive base scheme running. And he was playing so bad that they subbed his ass out and put in Damone Clark, who just last week everyone was bitching to get him out of there. Then you watch from the first to the third quarter, it's just like, fuck, dude, we need Damone. And I'm not going to say Overshawn didn't make decent plays, but if you go back and you watch his gaps, was he at his gap? And the answer is 95% of the time, no, he was not. He was not at his gap.
Yeah.
But
And this goes back. One of my favorite things to say about linebackers in general, people are going to look at his tackle numbers, and I think he had more than 5 or 6 tackles, and they're going to be like, well, he's making plays. But how many yards is he giving up to make those tackles? And if a linebacker's giving up 5 or 6 yards, I mean, every offense in the world is, throwing a party on the sidelines.
Yeah. Especially the way they were moving that fucking ball, dude.
Yeah. It was not fun to watch. It's not fun to be a Cowboys fan right now, and I might be the furthest thing from it because I hate Jerry Jones. But I have been a Dak Prescott lover my entire life. I wanted Broncos to take him second round the year he went fourth round, and when we didn't, I was sad.
Yep, they're built like they got a Ferrari body with a Prius engine in it.
Yep.
They look nice on the outside, but once you get down in them guts and shit, and you really make them open that motherfucking playbook up, or the defense and offensive side, they shit the bed. Regardless of how close these games may look, if you're watching them quarter by quarter and not box score fucking peaking, you really see a lot of glaring holes. But it is tough, but it is not football without some injuries. Guys like Justin Herbert went out early with an ankle injury. Guy like Sam Darnold also went out. Jordan Love is expected to be back here pretty soon. Devontae Smith, I don't know if you saw the hit on him, but he looked like he got fucking absolutely baptized. He
Oh
got
man.
shoulder checked by a fucking 350-pound defensive tackle, dude, and it looked horrible. It looked real fucking bad.
Yep. Welcome to football.
Yeah, dude. God damn, boy. I would have. At that point, I'm a shooting guard after that shit. Fuck that, dude. That was awful.
Said I'm a shooting guard.
I am, baby. But Lions tight end Sam Laporta has also suffered a low ankle sprain. He is day to day, so nothing too crazy. Cardinals tight end Trey McBride was in concussion protocol, but is looked to be back the following week. Same with Lane Johnson. But I think their backup tackle did pretty good. It was his first start in 3 years, so that's kind of crazy to think about. Or not his first start. It was his first actual action of football in 3 years. It was obviously his first start, I guess, if you want to say that. Yeah, I would assume he starts next week as well. Mekhi Becton fucked up his finger. Rashawn Slater has pectoral issues. Jedrick Willis is still out with a knee injury, as well as Wyatt Teller. Kind of tough with these big offensive linemen. Speaking of offensive linemen, Joel Alt also down with a knee injury. It's tough, baby. That's why you gotta have
sad
depth.
to see, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. He played real good. Against Max Crosby, he played pretty good. You know.
Yeah, I was talking about him week 1, if you remember. I don't remember. I think it was in our pick 'em, because I was excited to see him go up against the Steelers, and that didn't work out too well for him.
Yeah.
But
oh god.
I mean, Herbert went down when it was a 10-10 game. So
yeah, poor Herbo.
Yeah.
Moving on to defensive line, Leonard Williams has left the game early with a rib injury. Byron Murphy. So the Seahawks lose 2 defensive linemen, one to hamstring, one to ribs. Jeffrey Simmons has an elbow injury, but is day-to-day. Myles Garrett has been struggling with feet issues. He struggled a little bit last week as well with his feet. He played through this week, but I'm pretty sure he went out with several minutes still left in the fourth quarter to receive some treatment.
Yeah, I believe they helped him off the field as well. He was struggling.
Yeah, I love Myles Garrett too.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Bosa with hip injury. Alex Highsmith with a groin injury. And here we go. Marcus fucking Davenport was the guy the Lions signed on a 2-year deal. He's obviously been injury prone his entire career, but it was worth the swing and for the swing and a miss because he is out for the season with his elbow injury. Kwity Paye has a quad injury. He'll miss some time, but not necessarily known how much time. Starting cornerback Adoree Jackson out with a calf injury. Guys like Cheetah Bay is also out with a groin injury. And finishing off, safety Marcus Epps for the Raiders has torn his ACL against Carolina. So not only did they get their ass whooped, they lost their starting safety.
Yep.
It's a tough business of playing football. But that wraps up the week 3 week recap. Holy fuck. I don't have a problem talking. We'll try to get our pick 'em out before Thursday's game. Hope you guys enjoy the video. We'll be seeing you real soon. Peace.